For over 2 decades, One Piece has exemplified what a long-running shonen anime can achieve. Its incredible world-building and emotionally resonant arcs are only matched by an ever-expanding cast of quirky, lovable characters. Naturally, its success inspired others to chase that same magic. Studios saw the fan devotion, the global merchandise, and hoped to strike gold with similar formulas. The One Piece blueprint seems simple: a charismatic hero, a colorful crew, and a grand adventure filled with escalating stakes. But replicating Eiichiro Oda's vision? That's proven to be anything but easy. Some anime, like Black Clover or Fairy Tail, came close. They had devoted fans, creative settings, and serious hype. But when stacked against One Piece's legacy, most couldn't maintain the same momentum. These are 7 anime that tried, and failed, to be the next One Piece. At number 7, we have Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail was one of the biggest shonen anime of the 2010s. Despite how well-liked it is, the anime never quite reached One Piece levels of acclaim or longevity. Creator Hiro Mishima has openly cited One Piece as a major inspiration, and it shows. Like Luffy and the Straw Hats, Fairy Tail follows Natsu and his guild as they tackle high-stakes missions, build deep bonds, and fight with flashy magic abilities. The series shares One Piece's emphasis on friendship, quirky characters, and explosive battles. But unlike One Piece, Fairy Tail struggled with repetitive storytelling, major pacing issues, and a lack of emotional weight in its arcs. Even its most climactic moments often fell flat compared to the heartbreak and triumph fans feel in One Piece. While it's still a must-watch for shonen fans, Fairy Tail simply couldn't escape the towering shadow of Oda's masterpiece. At number 6, we have MÄR, Merchant Awakens Romance. MÄR is an isekai anime that never reached mainstream popularity, but it had some of the best elements found in One Piece. The story follows Ginta, a fairy tale-obsessed boy who's transported to the magical world of Mar Heaven. There, he uses mystical objects called arms, similar in concept to One Piece's devil fruits, to fight in fantastical battles. Much like One Piece, Mar boasted a sprawling world, unique powers, and a chosen protagonist with big dreams. However, where Mar fell short was in its storytelling depth. The anime leaned heavily on overused tropes and predictable plotlines. Its character development and emotional stakes couldn't hold a candle to the kind of arcs Eiichiro Oda delivered. While MÄR had the potential to grow into something bigger, it ultimately faded into obscurity, another promising shonen that couldn't keep up with the legacy of One Piece. At number 5, we have Zatch Bell. In a world where magical children known as Mamodo descend to Earth every 100 years, Zatch Bell offered a fresh twist on the battle tournament formula. Each Mamodo pairs with a human partner to compete in a brutal, high-stakes contest, with the winner crowned Mamodo King. The story follows Kyo, a brilliant but antisocial student, and Zatch, his quirky, lightning-wielding Mamodo partner. Together, they form a bond and fight their way through a series of intense, emotionally charged battles. The show had heart. It blended magic, action, and character-driven storytelling in a way that showed real promise. But Zatch Bell just couldn't maintain the consistency or emotional weight of a series like One Piece. Its tone swung wildly, from lighthearted gags to unexpectedly dark themes, and that inconsistency made it tough for some viewers to stay invested. Add to that a rushed and unresolved ending, and what could have been a long-running hit ended up as a bittersweet memory for fans who saw its potential. At number 4, we have Blue Dragon. At first glance, Blue Dragon looked like it had everything needed to follow in One Piece's footsteps: a close-knit group of young heroes, fantastical powers, and a classic good versus evil setup. Adapted from the video game created by the minds behind Final Fantasy, the anime centered on a group of kids who wield powerful creatures known as shadows to defend their village and eventually take on greater threats. It had strong world building, a high-stakes premise, and a spirit of adventure that echoed the early arcs of One Piece. But somewhere along the way, Blue Dragon lost its spark. Despite its flashy action and big-name creators, the characters lacked depth and development. The episodic format made it hard for viewers to stay emotionally invested, and the story never evolved past basic, predictable beats. What started as a promising contender quickly faded into obscurity, a title with potential but no staying power. At number 3, we have Samurai 7. Inspired by Akira Kurosawa's legendary film Seven Samurai, Samurai 7 took a bold leap, reimagining the classic tale in a futuristic, war-torn world. In this version, 7 samurai are hired to defend a small farming village from the Nobuseri, once proud warriors turned monstrous cyborgs. The anime had the ambition of One Piece, with rich world-building, epic battles, and themes of honor, sacrifice, and survival. And visually, Samurai 7 stood out with a stunning art style and unique character designs that gave it an identity all its own. But despite its strong start, the series couldn't maintain its momentum. The plot became muddled, the pacing dragged, and character arcs didn't always pay off. While One Piece builds deep emotional investment over time, Samurai 7 struggled to keep viewers connected beyond the visuals. It's still remembered for its artistry, but not for the kind of unforgettable journey that defines true shōnen legends. At number 2, we have World Trigger. With an interdimensional twist and a fresh take on shōnen dynamics, World Trigger set itself apart from the very beginning. Set in a world under constant threat from alien invaders known as neighbors, the series follows elite fighters who wield powerful weapons called triggers to protect humanity. It had all the right ingredients: a layered world, strategic combat, and a large cast of compelling characters. And while its tone was more grounded and serious than One Piece, it still carried that same spirit of hope, camaraderie, and fighting against impossible odds. But where One Piece thrived off consistency, World Trigger stumbled. Its first anime adaptation suffered from lackluster animation, pacing issues, and an overload of filler that turned off many early fans. By the time the series got its much-needed reboot, the initial hype had already died down. Today, World Trigger has earned a loyal following and regained some momentum, but it never quite lived up to the genre-defining legacy it was once expected to carry. And finally, at number 1, we have Eden's Zero. From Fairy Tail creator Hiro Mashima comes a bold, sci-fi adventure set in the vast cosmos. Eden Zero follows Shiki, a gravity-controlling optimist, traveling the stars with his crew in search of the mythical space goddess known as Mother. The setup feels familiar, a group of misfits on an epic journey chasing legends and forming unbreakable bonds along the way. Shiki himself echoes One Piece's Luffy with his unwavering ambition and wide-eyed enthusiasm. But while the blueprint was there, Eden Zero struggled to build an identity of its own. Instead of carving new ground, it often felt like a reskinned fairy tale, complete with recycled character designs, flashy battles, and a heavy reliance on fan service. What could have been a genre-defining space epic ended up feeling like déjà vu. Despite its high potential, Eden Zero never reached the heights of One Piece, proving again just how rare that kind of magic really is. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world of anime.